So, we are launching our cold brew. So we are doing two different types. We do voila. This is the first one. This is done on a cold brew dripper. So the way this works is that this is done really over a 4-hour period on a Coffeewerk dripper downstairs, where we use about 50 grams of coffee with about 450 milliliters of water. We get a concentrate out that we can also mix and dilute either with hot or cold water. This is an ice chemix, which is another form of doing cold coffee. So this is done with our chemix pour over, which is a paper filter, and this is done much quicker, and we get a very, very sweet cup of coffee out of this. So this is done with Coffee Collective, and this is done with the Brew coffee. Claire now will do wondrous things with the coffee, with her syrups, and with a little bit of alcohol. So enjoy.
So I'm going to use both of the cold brews for two different coffee cocktails, basically. First, just to say a little bit about myself and my company, America Village Apothecary. America Village because it's a place, it's not just a name I thought of and liked the sound of. Ballyaverica, it's actually a place in North Connemara. So it's where I'm based, it's where I forage for most of my ingredients that go into the seasonal syrups that I make. So I make seasonal, cocktail and culinary syrups. Most of them are foraged, like this one, the pine. Some of them aren't. For those that aren't, like the tonic syrup. So this is a quinine-based tonic syrup. So basically, you would add soda water or sparkling water to this, and you have tonic water. And it's amber in colour because that's quinine comes from the bark of a tree called the cinchona tree from Peru, and that's what gives the tonic syrup the amber colour. So, but really, that's where your gin and tonics came from. In India, when the English were over there and they needed a medicine for malaria, they were given this syrup, made like this colour, the cinchona syrup, quinine syrup. And they didn't like the taste of it on its own, so they started mixing it with gin and water, and hence your colonial gin and tonic was born. So that's where it came from. So this is the old style tonic. This is what it would have been like. But what I want everyone to do first, maybe, just around the taste and the flavour profiles, is for everyone to try some of the cold brew. This is the Chemex one, which is I think a little juicier than the other one. It's more fruity, a little peachy, and yeah, just a little juicier than this one, which is more condensed, more concentrated kind of. So I am going to just demonstrate how you can combine the cold brew with my syrups to make some really tasty drinks. So first of all, just something very simple we can do is to use the cold brew for if you wanted a digestive after dinner kind of a drink. And this is just going to be using cold brew and bitters. What's become very popular and very kind of trendy, let's say, over the last 12 months just, is cold brew and tonic, okay? Cold brew and tonic water. Now, what I'm going to do is, and I don't, from my research, what I can gather, nobody has done it. So you're seeing seeing a new trend right here. Okay, is the cold brew with tonic, but using a tonic syrup. Okay, so you heard it here first. So this is my tonic syrup, and what I'm going to do for people is just put some of this in here. Don't drink it out of here, but just have a smell of it. What I can do then is put some. I can put some water in with this, and people can try it just on its own afterwards, maybe. Or so if I just hand that around, I'll get one going around the other side. Just hand that around. Just get a smell of it. You get an idea of what we're talking about. Okay. So in that's one of my best sellers. It's in that is the cinchona, as well as lots of organic citrus. By organic citrus, I'm talking about lemon, lime, grapefruit, orange. There's also lots of botanicals and spices, lavender. So there's a lot going on in that tonic syrup. So to make your tonic water, what you would do is usually about 2 to 1, 2, 3 to 1, depending on how bitter or not you like your tonic water. Okay, so just, and I'm going to make this a large one. So you see there, that's your tonic syrup, and in that you put sparkling water. Okay, so what I'm going to do in there is put about twice the amount of sparkling water up to here. And then what we'll do is just pour over our cold brew just on the top of the ice and let it fall through. Okay, so I'll wait for the water. I'll do that, and then what we can do is just, because I want everyone to kind of have a taste of everything we're making. So that's just a simple tonic and cold brew. Tonic syrup, tonic and cold brew. You can make it also with cold brew and tonic water, bought tonic water. I wouldn't advise buying Schweppes. Not great, thanks. In fact, I wouldn't advise buying any tonic water apart from my own tonic syrup. But, you know, it's free will. So something that's worth noting, I suppose, about tonic water, even the craft tonic waters, Fever Tree and the like, they're all clear. You don't get that colour in your gin and tonic. The reason is it's made with synthetic quinine. So all those tonic waters are made with synthetic quinine. This is natural quinine. It's made with the bark of the tree. Okay, so we have our water. And the beauty about the tonic syrup as well, you don't have to use soda water with it. You can just use fizzy water. It's cheaper. And it's the same results, really. So we'll... There's your... Stir.
Before the gin, unfortunately.
Oh, that's pity. The bourbon one is even better than the gin one. You're looking to put about the same amount of cold brew. Kind of have the layers of the coffee cold brew floating on top, and so that is a coffee cold brew and tonic. Very, very trendy and popular in the States last summer. Very popular. In a lot of it's moving across the Atlantic. In London, cold brew and tonic. Well, do a Google search for it, you'll see. So there's nowhere here yet, I think, that are serving cold brew and tonic, especially cold brew and tonic syrup. So there's our tonic. Okay, I'm using Google Gin, so that's what I had. And it's nice to use an Irish product too. No, that was just a coffee, so okay. So this is how you just make with the tonic syrup, your gin and tonic. You can just put in your gin, throw in your tonic syrup, water, and the beauty of the tonic syrup is you can you know, you can put as much or as little water if you want, as you want. You actually don't have to put any water in it if you don't want to. If you have lots of ice and you kind of like that dryness. Okay, so that's our gin and tonic. We'll put a little bit more. And then again, and this is nice serving up to people, or if you work in a bar, serving in a bar, because of the, it looks nice. And it's so easy to make yourself. You know, that's, it's a lovely, refreshing cold brew gin and tonic. You're going to see more of these. Again. So this one is pine syrup. My pine syrup really comes into it's lovely just with sparkling water, but it really comes into its own with a deep whiskey, something like Jameson Black Barrel or bourbon, a sweeter kind of whiskey. I'll just hand those around again. Have a, just to get a little scent. It's, you see, it smells kind of like your Christmas tree, and it tastes nearly the way your Christmas tree smells. But it's very nice in this cocktail. Very simple again. We're going to use bourbon. It's a cheap bourbon, the little bourbon that I just had. So it doesn't have to be anything too fancy. Bourbon, cold brew, and pine syrup. 3 ingredients go into this cocktail. Lots of ice. And I'm actually going to garnish it. I was going to give people a taste without the bitters, but I'm going to garnish it with a couple of drops of bitters. And what the bitters do at the end, they, especially on the nose, they really add that cola, like a cola nut, the old botanical cola flavour. Okay, so a nice dash of bourbon. About half, 2/3, depending on how sweet your tooth is, of pine syrup. And then about twice as much cold brew as your spirit, as your bourbon. Nearly twice. Again, depending on how strong or not you want your drink to be. So that's really good about that. It's nice to taste the bourbon too. And if you don't have a cocktail shaker at home, throw it in a bottle, a plastic, but anything just to shake it up. But it does kind of need, this one needs to be shaken. You could stir it, but what you're looking for, and you'll see in a minute, you're looking for that. You're looking for that foam. Okay? You'll see it now. So you have a nice glass for this. And you don't need any ice in your glass, because you have had plenty of ice in this, and you have the coffee in it anyway. So it looks like kind of looks like an Irish coffee, and it's very creamy. Actually, I forgot. I was going to use this cold brew for this cocktail because this is actually. I'll demonstrate from this. So remember, Daniel was talking about the 2 different methods. So you can kind of see the cup. You can't really now in that. But this is kind of a more concentrated one, which I think works better in this cocktail. I think this one is better with the G&T, but you know, it doesn't make that much difference. Just because I've been playing around with it.
You can smell it on the strong one.
Oh yeah. So there you go, a really tasty after dinner drink. And I'm going to pour some into the, and then you can garnish that up, which changes the flavour profile slightly if you use the aromatic bitters. It kind of equalises it, it rounds it off, becomes a little bit more robust, and you're getting those cola notes on the nose initially.